Live now to the Capitol for remarks by outgoing Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi.
I'm proud to announce that we've just come from our Democratic caucus, our organizational caucus, and have elected the leadership for the 112th Congress. I want to recognize Nancy Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, Jim Clyburn, Javier Becerra, and Chris Van Hollen. Well, most importantly, this extraordinary caucus of ours has come together on behalf of the American people, whose members, several of whom we met with yesterday, who won't be returning to this caucus, were so uplifting in their encouragement in our pursuit on behalf of jobs in this economy and fighting on behalf of the American people, that it's what brings us together and unifies us behind our great leader, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I wish all of America could have seen our caucus today and yesterday, as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, to hear the commitment that they have to fighting for the middle class, for saving Social Security, for honoring our men and women in uniform, and building a future worthy of their sacrifice for our great country. We're just going to speak briefly, each of us, but I'm proud to be part of this leadership team. Our consensus is that we go out there listening to the American people. It's about jobs, about reducing the deficit, and it's about fighting for the middle class. So I look forward to doing that with this great leadership team. I want to make one special mention because we have a new position for Chris Van Hollen, who has been nominated to be chosen to be the ranking member on the Budget Committee. The budget, many expect to be a statement of our national values. I know that Chris Van Hollen will make that fight based on values, based on reducing deficit, based on fighting for the middle class. So I want to congratulate him on his new position. Thank you.
Steny Hoyer.
Thank you very much. This was a difficult election, to say the least. The American public reflected their anxiety and their desire that the Congress of the United States focus on creating jobs, growing our economy, and ensuring fiscal balance for the long term. We're committed to that objective. I talked about, the Speaker talked about, and others talked about the agenda of Make It in America. Not only do psychologically we want to make sure that Americans understand that they and their children can make it in America, but also that we can make it in America, manufacture it and grow it in America and sell it around the world so we grow good jobs for our people. We are going to participate as a minority in this Congress, but we will be ever vigilant to keep the Republicans, as they did to us, to their rhetoric on fiscal balance and on growing jobs. That is what the American people have asked us to do. That's what we think we have been doing, which is why we've created 1 million jobs this year alone in the private sector. We'll continue to work and to focus on the agenda that we have listened to the American people, and we're going to respond to their needs, to the needs of their families and to the needs of their children, for a better America, a prosperous America, and an America that has a job for everyone who wants to work. Thank you very much. And next, I'm pleased to yield to my dear friend, whom I've known for 45 years, who I've worked with for much of that period of time on behalf of making an America that all of us can be proud of, Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, the assistant to the leader. Excuse me, the assistant leader. Excuse me.
Thank you. That's all right. Thank you very much, Steny. Thank you so much for your friendship and thanks for your leadership. And Madam Speaker, you're still Speaker. Thank you so much for what you've done for this caucus and what I know you're going to do in the 112th. This is a tremendous leadership team. Chairman Lawson, Vice Chair Becerra, our Budget Director Chris Van Hollen. I want to thank all of you. You know, the last 2 days now, our caucus has been being very introspective. I've enjoyed sitting down yesterday for about 5 or 6 hours, listening to our members, listening to those who will not be with us next time. Today, we went through a process that I think will lay a foundation for us to be prospective as we go forward. I'm looking forward to working with this team, and as I said earlier in my remarks, we've been at these crossroads before. We know what it takes to get us back to where we need to be on behalf of the American people, and we are going to do it with enthusiasm, and I'm looking forward to what lies ahead. Thank you so much. And with that, I suspect I should be yielding to our Vice Chair, Javier Becerra, my classmate.
Thank Mr. Clyburn, and as I learned a long time ago from a friend in elected office, then was then, now is now. And we have a job in front of us. We know it, and we're ready to get back to work and to continue to build on the successes of over 150,000 jobs created last month, more than 1 million created in the last 10 months, building on the fact that we just got word that 14% more small businesses are offering health insurance to their employees as a result of the health care bill, the historic health care bill that we passed. And we are ready to go to work because we know job one for us is jobs for Americans. And I must tell you that as we look out at the landscape, working with this president, he knows this very well. And I think it sounds even better in Spanish. When people ask, can we do it? We simply say, sí se puede. And with that, I'd like to now ask our ranking member on the Budget Committee to say a few words.
Thank you, Javier. First, I want to thank the members of the Democratic Caucus for electing me to be the ranking member of the Budget Committee in the next Congress. I think we all know that that's going to be a central front in the great national debate we will have about the best way to kick our economy into higher gear, to make sure that we put more Americans back to work. And for the first time now, our Republican colleagues are going to share in the responsibility for trying to get the economy back on its feet. As my colleagues have said, we've made substantial progress over the last 20 months, but we all acknowledge that people are still hurting and we have a long way to go. And where we can find common ground in doing that, and I hope we can find common ground, we will work together. And where we have differences, we will make our differences known. It's important that the whole nation engage in this debate over our values and priorities as we seek to get the economy in full gear and make sure that we put this country on a path of fiscal responsibility and fiscal discipline. So I'm looking forward to that great debate. I thank the Speaker and our leadership team, and I thank the members of our caucus for supporting me as we take on these responsibilities in the new Congress.
Madam Speaker. Can you tell us what you'd say to Americans who may look at this and say, you know, it's the same leadership now as it was before November 2nd, and they thought they sent some message. What do you say to those voters?
The message we receive from the American people is that they want a job. They want jobs. 9.5% unemployment is a very tough screen to get through with any other message. What we want to say to the American people is what Mr. Hoyer was saying. We want them to make it in America, to manufacture in our country so that their families can make it in America. This is an experienced, diverse leadership team that is very strong. It's a team that took us to victory in 2005 and 2006 and will take us to victory again. In the meantime, I would say to the American people, we extend a hand of friendship to the Republicans. We look forward to hearing their ideas on job creation and deficit reduction. I hearken back to a president in my youth who inspired me, John F. Kennedy, who said we must not seek a Republican way or a Democratic way. We must find the right way to go forward as we take our own responsibility for the future. Now I have the privilege of serving under another young, inspiring President of the United States, and I want the American people to know that we all strive to work together wherever possible in a bipartisan way to create jobs and reduce the deficit. And I'm very, very proud of our leadership team and proud of the role that Mr. Clyburn will serve as assistant leader. He's an icon in our country in terms of working for the middle class, and a new change, Mr. Van Hollen as the ranking member on the Budget Committee. And may I say then how sad we are to lose Mr. Spratt, a very distinguished member of Congress who always put forth a budget that was a statement of our national values. What was important to our country was reflected there. That's what I would say.
Madam Speaker, over 60 House Democrats lost in this cycle. Your positive rating amongst independents to our last NBC poll stands at 8%. Why are you the best person to lead Democrats, House Democrats, in the current political landscape?
Well, let me put that in perspective. How would your ratings be if $75 million were spent against you? Because I'm an effective leader, because we got the job done on health care and Wall Street reform and consumer protections, the list goes on. Because they know that I'm the person that can attract the resources, both intellectual and otherwise, to take us to victory, because I have done it before. And so, again, you take 9.5% unemployment, you burn a dollar bill, $75 million spent against one person, and I'd like to see what your ratings would be. But I feel confident, and I'm so proud of our members, and so many of them have said to me that they want to keep the door open to running again and to work with this leadership team.
May I? Thank you, folks. Can I just add one thing? I urge you to speak to the overwhelming number of our membership who elected Nancy Pelosi to be our leader, because I believe, as each and every one of them has said, that she has led us, and she has led us to historic heights. And many of us believe that we are prepared to take this country to even greater heights, and many of us spoke very loudly that the person who could do that here in the House of Representatives for this Democratic caucus is a woman who is named Nancy Pelosi.
They know her will. Most importantly, they know her heart. And that was felt today, the heartfelt feeling of this caucus behind this great leader. Thank you very much.
We have to go to work now. Thank you all.